Hi, I'm Sara and welcome to my Session Girls interview today, sponsored by Male vs Female Forum. Today I have in front of me the questions that you guys have kindly submitted into the Male vs Female Forum, and I have chosen from that about 10 questions which I hope to answer as best that I can for you guys. So, the first question that I've been asked by, I recognise the name as one of my clients, is what's the best thing about being strong? So for me, I suppose the best thing about being strong is that people tend to underestimate you. So obviously because they look at me, sometimes they think that you don't have, you're not that big, you're not that strong, you're just a girl. And sometimes it's quite good to prove people wrong, and that's quite a nice feeling, in that sometimes people think, oh, you can't lift that because you're a girl, and then when you actually do, people are actually quite shocked or taken aback. So that always feels quite good. And the other thing is that being strong, it also makes you very independent, in that it means that, if you need to hug your luggage around whenever you're travelling, you don't need to rely on a bell guy. Or if you're moving house as well, you don't have to recruit people that, you can, get in there and lift things yourself as well with help of other people. So for me, that's probably the main things about being strong that I quite enjoy. And it's also something in that there's always room to get stronger. So it's quite good in that you can work on your strength as well. The second question that I have in front of me here is, since I have started doing interviews myself, what is the most surprising thing that I have learnt since I began doing them? So, for any of you that are unaware, on my YouTube channel, Sara That's Wrestling, I have interviews that I have done with production companies I've worked with, such as Scissor Foxes, Utopian Entertainment, Scissor Vixens, etc. In these interviews, I have asked various questions, and for me, probably some of the most interesting things that I found out is that, well, what seems to be the case with these guys is that they have all been normal, regular session guys that have had no video skills, no editing skills, that have just picked up a camera and started to make their own clips. Some guys maybe have found that sessions were quite expensive, so they decided that they would try and make some extra money so they can do sessions. And this is how their clip stores have kind of evolved, and some of them have got bigger than what they actually thought they would ever be. So that's quite good for some guys that maybe are session guys and they maybe have the inkling and they maybe want to start their own clip store. The other thing for me that has probably been the most interesting thing is that in their private time with myself, some of these guys that own clip stores have been very honest with myself, in that they have told me what they used to earn maybe like 5-10 years ago and what they earn today from selling their clips. And I suppose what's quite alarming is that the guys don't make near as much as what they used 2 years ago. And I understand there's more people in the scene today, but I think it's due to the amount of piracy as well. And they were saying that quite a lot of people buy their clips and they share them on forums, or they share them on certain porn sites, etc. And it means that it undervalues their market and their quality of work. And unfortunately, some of them do wonder what the future of their clip stores is going to be. So please do support the guys that actually put the time and effort into making good quality films for you. The third question I have here is, would you rather beat a man or a woman if it were competitive? Not like when the man lets you win, such as Dante. Well, that's quite an easy question for me because I like mixed wrestling, and this is always my preference because I quite like the battle of the sexes, and I always feel that I can be a lot rougher with a guy than a girl. So I suppose for me it's obviously going to be a man, because again it's that kind of, someone underestimates you and the girl comes out on top, and that's what I like, and that's my answer. So my fourth question is, which is your favourite move at My cat has just made an appearance on the table here, so if you can see any ears, this is maybe what it is. What is your most favourite move that you use mostly to submit guys in sessions? So in sessions, probably my most powerful move is an RCN with a body scissor. I think this is a very effective move because it's like a double whammy, and it's kind of like you can choke someone while relaxing your scissors, or you can scissor someone while relaxing your choke, or you can just do it both together. Either way, most people usually submit. I also like to do all kinds of different scissors, and I'm quite fond of doing the fist choke as well. So obviously a body scissor you do from when you're behind someone, so you're in the bottom position, but I quite like to do the fist choke on top, which is where you simply underhook your arm behind someone's neck and you push down your fist into their throat with your cutting bone, and I find that's quite effective as well as the top position. So they're probably my favourite go-to moves. What is your pet peeves when it comes to communication when setting up a session? So this question is quite a good question, and I think there's lots of things I could kind of cover with this. I suppose the thing that is annoying, and I suppose why some girls get such a bad name about being, quite harsh when it comes to communication, that I've heard of some girls even ask for a deposit up front before they'll even talk to you. I mean, I don't do that, but I can kind of see why some girls do. It probably depends on maybe how popular the girl is, or how much free time she has to do emails. For myself, I usually find that maybe about a third of guys that actually email are genuine, and the rest are time wasters. So it's so annoying when you've went to the effort to reply to someone and they can't even have the courtesy to get back to you and say even that their circumstances have changed, or they can't afford a session, or just a simple email to say. So it's as if you're emailing fresh air all the time, and that is so annoying when you've had numerous emails that day and you only get back a few genuine actual people. The other thing with this is that some people in their emails really want to play tennis ping pong, in that it's back and forth, and this isn't a good thing for organising a session. I mean, I encourage people when booking a session with myself to give as much detail as possible, and I think that communication makes a great session. You need open communication, because if you cross your wires, you're going to end up for a disappointment of a session. But in saying that, there's no reason as to why guys can't write substantial emails. All it needs is 2-3 paragraphs, and voila, we've got the information. After maybe we've exchanged 4 to 5 emails, we've established exactly what we want. We know boundaries, we know everything. But other people, sometimes they seem to think that they can send 10 to 20 emails, and I would say that most girls wouldn't be so lenient, and you'll find you'll not do very well if you're getting to your 10th email and you still don't have any substance to that. You need to work out what you're doing wrong. For me, I think what shows people are genuine is if someone emails you and they express interest, they said their city, you email them back. You kind of ask them days, times and dates to suit. If someone's coming back to you and they're giving some sort of inkling to say certain date, certain time of the day that suits, say the afternoon, you can kind of take it that this person is genuine. If someone's sort of ignoring all these questions and not giving any substance, you can sort of tell that they're a time waster. So that's one of the things to kind of look out for. But guys that send one-line emails are such time wasters, and I will not reply to someone that can only write one line to me. I mean, if I'm going to write a few paragraphs to you and all I get back is one simple line, don't expect an answer. And also, guys, a pet peeve of mine is that if you can't have the courtesy to sign off your email, it doesn't take very much to say hi Sarah in an email, and it doesn't take very much to say regards and your name. So that's just another wee pet peeve of mine. So the next question asks me how long I see myself staying in the business. Well, I think this kind of varies for different reasons for some girls. Some girls obviously get married, other girls have babies, the list is endless. For me, I hope to stay in the business as long as I have clients and as long as you guys keep booking sessions with me. I think that, you know, it also comes down to, does your body allow this? You know, so there maybe gets a time in your life that you go, you know what, I have too many injuries or I have too many aches and pains and I just can't do this wrestling anymore. So I hope that day doesn't come for me for a long while yet. But, you know, you have to sort of keep these things in your head. But no, I intend to fully do it as long as I can. And as long as I enjoy sessions as well. I mean, this year, quite a lot of people were shocked when the lovely Anna M. Strong actually quit sessions. And so many people were disappointed by this. But I think from what I gathered on her Facebook and Twitter, etc., was that the spark wasn't there anymore. And that she just simply, you know, she pulled herself away from it because she wasn't enjoying it. And, you know, I completely respect Anna for doing that. I think you shouldn't provide sessions if you don't enjoy them, because the other person isn't going to enjoy doing the session with you either. So I wish her all the best in her new career plans, or whether it's just simply a break and she needs time out and she comes back to us again. So the next question is quite a simple question actually. It asks me if I prefer doing custom videos or sessions. Well, I am actually filming a custom session after this, which I'm quite excited to do because it's a kind of Jen test clip which I've never actually done before. But for me, actually, I prefer the sessions, and anyone that has seen my extensive tour list on WB270 or that will know that. But I think for me, you know, I think there's a kind of girl that likes customs and there's the kind of girl that likes sessions, and I think that most girls will tend to lean towards one of the other. Quite a lot of girls that maybe have done sessions for years and have got fed up with the travel move into more doing the customs and setting their own video production team. But for me, I quite like the, you know, the banter between people. I like, you know, talking to people, finding out things about people, the more personal elements. So, you know, I can't get this in a custom in that, you know, I'm not really getting to interact with you the same. So that's why I prefer sessions. But I know some girls are excellent actors, and you know, this is what they like, and they're maybe more of an extrovert than an introvert. And for me, sometimes I do get a bit sort of stage fright, so I'm not the perfect actress. And I would definitely say that I prefer the session element. The next question is actually quite a good question as well, and it asks how often that I find a disconnection between what people say they want and can handle versus what they can actually take or you can actually give them in a session. Okay, so this is quite a good one because I have actually had this before in sessions, and it's not uncommon at all that, you know, especially with first timers, I've had people book sessions and they're like, oh, I want complete domination by you, I want you to go all out with your scissors, I want you to ignore my taps, I want you to do X, Y, Z to me, I want you to punch me, belly punch me, bull bust me. And then actually, you know, I'm kind of thinking, are you sure you want this all? Because it's your first session, and, you know, maybe start slowly and build up the intensity. And you're like, no, I can take it all. And then actually, when you come down to the session and you do your first scissor on them, and it gets to 3 or 4 scissors in, they're actually saying, can you actually sort of tone it down a bit? It's you know, it's actually a lot. You know, you're a lot stronger than what I thought you were, or you're, you know, it's a completely different feeling to what I expected. So I think what happens with these guys is that they watch so many videos online and they think it looks fake. So they watch all these videos and think, oh, this guy can't be screaming, he can't, you know, be knocked out, and they think that, you know, the R is going to be so kind of you know, that they will be able to handle it. But what I tell these guys is that most of the guys that do the videos for the likes of Scissor Vixens or like unicorns, not very many of them exist. And actually, if you watch through quite a lot of the production companies, it's the same model that quite a lot of them use or share around. because these guys can take a real high level of intensity, and these clips only last maybe like 15 minutes, whereas a session lasts an hour, and if you're not getting a break in an hour, that is a long time. So I think guys need to be aware of that. But in saying that, some people take to it like a duck out of water, and I mean, they can take a lot, and it's quite good fun whenever you get someone like this, because you don't have to hold back and you can kind of go out and go a bit crazy with them. So, you know, I think it's important that, yes, you kind of assess the person and what they can take. So, yes, this can happen. And also in terms of, you know, the likes of, I think, when this does happen, is that sometimes maybe they have sessioned more with a wrestler style girl. So sometimes, you know, some guys have sessioned with girls that are black belts. Obviously these girls use skill more than strength, so then actually when they come to a session for myself who has maybe strength and, you know, skill, it's kind of like, you know, it's a completely different element. And it's like my wrestling coach kind of tells me, it's not about having skill, it's about having strength of skill. That's what can make you very dangerous. And, you know, whenever those two things come together, you know, you can put an arm bar on someone and you can hold with your baby finger and you can literally pull your hamstrings back, lift your hips in the air, and that person will tap in a matter of seconds. So we're getting down to our last two questions. The next question kind of leads on from that, and it asks if how do you get a sense of when to push a guy's limit and when to dial it back in order to keep it safe? Well, I think this is pretty easy, this question, in that for myself, I'm very much so an eye contact person in a session, and I think this is very important because the eyes give a lot of detail. And, you know, I think in sessions you can just read the vibe. You know, it's kind of like, you know, go your gut feeling, that kind of thing, and that, you know, in your everyday life you kind of will say things like, don't do it if it doesn't feel right. So, you know, I think this goes a lot for sessions, and, you know, I will push the limit with people if I feel they can take it. So you can tell by how much they're tapping or how much they're squirming or that kind of thing. But, you know, it's good to play safe too, and usually you can tell if someone can't take it so much. Or sometimes, you know, it doesn't do any harm to say in a session, maybe you're 20 minutes in and you ask them, okay, so what's the intensity like? You know, can you take more? And they'll say, it's just right. Or sometimes they'll say, no, I can take more. And you'll go, okay, well, you can go harder then. So sometimes it's quite good to communicate too, sort of in a session. So I think that's probably it. You know, just go with your gut feeling, but always maintain eye contact, and that you can kind of tell the point of whenever you have to, you know, hold back. So the next question is, do I like doing foot fetish sessions? Yes, I do like doing foot fetish sessions, and I've actually just wrote an article this week on foot fetishes and foot worship sessions. So if you want to check that out on my website, by all means do. And the final question is, do I ever watch female fighters in the UFC, and what is my opinion of cage fighting? Yes, I do watch female fighters in the UFC sometimes. Sometimes if I go up to the likes of my uncles or that, it's on the TV and I'll kind of watch it in the background, but I probably don't watch it as much as what I should. And, you know, I think that comes down to the fact that I enjoy doing it more. And I find this with sessions too, in that sometimes you will get the guys that like to watch the videos of the girls online, but then you get the guys that actually do sessions. And they're kind of different, because it's quite strange in that sometimes when you do a session with a guy and you say, oh, you know, do you watch videos or where do you purchase videos? And they go, oh, I don't watch videos at all. And it's because they actually prefer to be the person doing it. So I suppose that goes for myself a wee bit. But in terms of cage fighting, I have a lot of respect for the girls that do the cage fighting. And I mean, do I think it's unsafe? I don't think it's unsafe. I mean, I think a cage is probably actually safer than a ring or that, because, you know, you're kind of you're not likely to fall off it or you know, whereas like the pro wrestling rings, you've kind of got like, you know, someone could fall out, you know, through the bits around the side. And so I think all this stigma around whether or not cage fighting's safe or it's not, you know, I think as long as the referees are there, the girls are trained properly, you know, everything is kind of done in a safe and secure way, you know, I've nothing wrong with it. And you know, I think it's good and encouraging for the girls, and that now they're able to take part in such sports as well as the guys. So no, I definitely think that the UFC has become more popular, and it's here to stay. So no, I wish all the girls the best that take part in cage fighting and UFC. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've been able to understand at least some of what I said, because I know I've got quite a thick accent and sometimes it can be hard to make me out. So thank you very much, and I wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving this week in America, I believe, and I wish everyone else a very happy and Merry Christmas from me and to all my clients and everyone that has watched. Thank you very much, guys.